Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So today, as you can tell by the title, we are jumping into my August wrap up. But before we get to the books, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, glassesusacom, and tell you guys a little bit about the glasses I'm wearing, as well as a couple other pairs I have to show you guys. So as you probably noticed when you entered this video, I have these brand new glasses. I absolutely love them. These are the Ototo Everad. And they're prescription eyeglasses, so beautiful. Like, look at the craftsmanship on these. I love them. I also got a pair of blue blockers and a pair of sunglasses. So let's go ahead and see how I styled those. I thought it would be fun to show you guys how I would style each pair, so you're not just sitting watching me try them on here, kind of boring. I wanted to instead show you guys how classic these styles are and how easy it is to style these glasses into multiple different outfits. So here are the other styles. So the next pair we have here is so adorable. They are these clear frames with the black sides. I think they are so trendy, but like in a classic way. Like, these are not gonna go out of style, but they're also like, you know, that cool girl aesthetic. So these are the Ototo Pieros and they're in the clear black. I also have a blue light coating on these. So this is like an outfit that I would wear to work from home, especially in the fall. So cozy. So that is how I styled these. My eyes get super tired when I am working from home all day. So I really appreciate the blue light coating that glassesusacom is able to put on any pair. All right guys, and this is the last pair. These are prescription sunglasses. Like I said, any pair can be made with your prescription and can be made with the blue blocking coating. These are the Muse X Hilary Duff collection, which I thought was really cool. What a Y2K legend. And these are in the style Ava. Again, as you can see, really great quality. I love the like slight tortoise detail, but they don't have like the very shiny lenses. I don't know, I'm not really into that. So I love this style. They're so classic. Yet again, so easy to style with something like this. Just a going out summer fit. So if you guys visit the link down below in the description, you can check out all of the glasses that I'm wearing in this video and also just explore the site and possibly find something that you would like. When you click on that link, let me just go ahead and show you what the site looks like. It's really easy to navigate. I had a really simple, easy time picking out my eyeglasses. They actually have a virtual try-on, which I thought was really cool. With previous glasses that I've bought, they've had to like send them to me so I could try them on in person, or I had to go in person to the store. And with glassesusacom, you can try them on online, and it really helps you see how the glasses will fit your face. I used it to find mine and it was really helpful. They also have over 9,000 styles of eyeglasses, sunglasses, men's and women's styles, and they have in-house brands, so that would be like the Ototo, or however you say it, that I got, and other things like Muse and Amelia E. But they also have designer brands that you would find like at your eye doctor or any other glasses store. So that would be like Oakley, Ray-Ban, Gucci, the normal like designer brands that you can get. You can really find every conceivable style, any color you want, and specialty glasses. So like I showed you my sunglasses and the blue blockers. They also have like sports glasses, safety glasses, kids glasses, all that good stuff. And almost all pairs can be ordered with your prescription and that blue light blocking coating as well. And you guys, these glasses are actually really affordable. I was so surprised. The eyeglasses and sunglasses actually only start at $30, and basic prescription lenses are included with every single frame, including the premium brands like Ray-Ban, Oakley, all of those. And I just think for the quality of these, like, that is an amazing price. They definitely feel like a very sturdy, well-made pair of glasses, and at that affordable price, you really can't beat it. Plus, they actually have contact lenses for order online as well, so you can stock up and save while you order your glasses, and you get about 25% 50% off actually of pretty popular contact brands like AccuView, Biofinity, which is the ones that I use, Dailies, and a bunch of other brands. They're available with any prescription, so as long as you have that updated prescription information, you can go ahead and check it out. Again, I have the link down below for you guys. Definitely check it out, use my link, and get yourself some new glasses. We're going into fall, so like the dark academia vibes, I'm absolutely loving it. And thank you again to Glasses USA for sponsoring this video. Now let's go ahead and get into the wrap up. As always, let's start with my StoryGraph stats. I read 18 books this month, and that is a total of 5,911 pages. Here is the mood breakdown. We have a lot of mysterious, dark, and tense reads, which is unsurprising for me. A good mix of pacing, mostly fast and medium paced, but I did have a couple slow paced books in there. I read 4 books that were under 300 pages, and all of the rest were between 300 and 500. I read 1 nonfiction book and 17 fiction. And here is the genre breakdown. As you can tell, a lot of thrillers, a lot of mysteries, a lot of gay stuff. What's new? We also have romance and horror thrown in there. Again, this is a very typical breakdown for me. As for my star ratings, I had an average rating this month of 4.09. And that is so high. I read so many good books this month. I only had 1 2-star, 1 2.5 star, 1 2.75 star, 1 3.5 star, and then it jumps up to 5 4-star reads, 2 4.5 stars, 1 4.75, and another 5 5-star books. Also, this breakdown shows like how I read the pages throughout the month. As you can see, like the first few days of August, barely read anything, not at all. And then it kind of fluctuated throughout the middle of the month, and at the end of the month, almost nothing until that last day. Some stats that I like to share that StoryGraph doesn't generate is the mode with which I read all of these books. So I actually read 4 books by an ebook on my laptop, 2 on audio, and the rest of the 12 I read physically. As for the age breakdown, I read 1 middle grade, 1 YA, and the rest were adult. And finally, for the author stats, I read 4 books by male authors and 14 by female authors. And I read 3 books by authors of color, and the rest were by white authors. So without further ado, let's get to what you've been waiting for and give you reviews of every single book I read this month. Starting with the 1 nonfiction that I read, because I do not rate nonfiction. I do not like rating other people's experiences. Putting a number on that just feels weird to me. So here is the 1 nonfiction book I read this month. It is I Miss You When I Blink by Mary Laura Philpott. And this was a collection of essays by, I would describe her as a modern professional woman. And she talks about all of the things that happen to you when you're having a quarter life crisis, when you're trying to figure out what to do with your career, when you are trying to figure out how to start a family, what to do as a mother, what to do as a woman navigating the world when you're feeling depressed or overwhelmed or happy or just all of the quirky things in life. And I did enjoy this book. It was entertaining and it was fun to read just like a few essays. Every time I had a couple minutes to read a book, it didn't feel like, oh, I'm picking up and pausing a story. It was easy to pick up and put down over time. But I did find myself getting bored with a few essays. They just seemed to get kind of repetitive towards like the last third of the book. But overall, I really enjoyed it. If you like short story collections or essays that are just kind of detailing a slice of life, I think you would really like this one. Next, moving on to the 1 2-star book I had this month. It is They All Fall Down by Rachel Housel Hall. And this was an updated retelling of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. And I was really drawn to this because it's by a Black author. And as we know, Agatha Christie books usually do not have great representation. Actually, a lot of her books have some racist history. So I thought it was cool that this was kind of like a modernized, updated version of one of those classic mysteries. It follows a group of people that are all told that they're getting this free vacation, and they go out there thinking that they're gonna have this wonderful time, and they end up finding out that they're there for a totally different, surprising reason, and mystery ensues. So unfortunately, I didn't really like this book that much. The writing style just didn't jive with me. It felt very stilted, like these sentences were very short and choppy, and I really didn't like a lot of the characters that we were following. They were just extremely unlikable, as well as the ending of the book was a little bit chaotic and hard to follow. Plus, I guess the murderer on like maybe chapter 4. So I didn't really enjoy this book that much, but I really did enjoy the concept. I thought that was really cool, and if it would have been done well, I would have really enjoyed this book. So this one was kind of a heartbreak for me, but if you're a diehard Agatha Christie / cozy mystery fan, maybe give this a try. I think it's a really cool concept, and maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe I wasn't jiving with the writing style, maybe you'll like it. Sorry about the ever-changing lighting in this video. I really wanted to use natural light to show off these glasses, but the sun is going down, so we might have some shifting lighting. But let's go ahead and move on to my 2.5-star book, which was Hairpin Bridge by Taylor Adams. Now this was a big letdown for me. This was actually one of my 2021 5-star predictions, so it's pretty heartbreaking that I only gave it half of that rating. I loved No Exit by Taylor Adams so much. Unfortunately, this one just didn't do it for me. It follows our main character who is trying to avenge her sister's alleged suicide. She does not, however, believe that her sister would commit suicide, so she goes to confront the cop that she believes played a part in her sister's death. And this book just felt extremely repetitive to me. It felt like we were doing the same thing the whole time. It was just a gun standoff on the bridge the whole time. I'm not exaggerating. That was the entire plot of the book. And the big reveal wasn't that great for me. I got really bored, and it definitely wasn't predictable, but just wasn't great for me. Okay, I need to close these blinds. Like, this is ridiculous. Okay, that is much better. Let's move on to my 2.75-star book this month, and that was The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. This one was very interesting. It was a sci-fi thriller, and I was kind of into it in the beginning. It was a weird concept, but I can't lie, I was kind of into it. It follows this guy, and he's like a tech genius CEO of a company.
I am actually the president of the company.
You know, those vibes. And he married this artist, but she died very tragically, and he's grieving her. And in order to grieve her without losing her, he makes kind of a robot AI version of her, and we're following from the perspective of the AI, which I think that's a great concept for a thriller. I loved the premise, but it just like didn't come together for me. The end went totally completely off the rails. I don't even want to waste time talking about this book because I really don't want to convince you to read it, to be honest. If you want to hear like my full thoughts and a very in-depth review in case you're interested, I will link my video. I did a complete ranking video for all of J.P. Delaney's books where I go really in depth with my thoughts and rank them all for you at the end. So if you missed that, I'll link it up here and down below. But yeah, I thought it was a less than average sci-fi thriller, good concept, not great execution. Next up, we have my 3.5-star book, which was The Secrets of Us by Lucinda Berry. And I've never read Lucinda Berry before, but I actually really liked the first thriller that I read from her. So I'll definitely be willing to give more a try in the future. But this one basically follows a mystery about these sisters. Reading lots about sisters this month, I don't know why, but something happened to these sisters back in the day. So we're following the past timeline when they were kids and they were foster children, so they're kind of getting thrown around a lot, and their foster mother is abusing them, and they go through a lot, but we know that somehow they escaped. And now in present day, there is, I don't even know if I want to tell you that. I think you should go in blind on that. So in present day, we also have things going on that are affected by the past. So it is very classic thriller. It kind of has like, almost like cult vibes in a way. Nobody's in a cult, but it just gave me cult vibes. And I thought it was really riveting. I definitely didn't guess any of the plot twists. It was super fast paced. It was pretty good. Like, it was an above average thriller for me. I landed on a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was nothing like super groundbreaking. The writing wasn't spectacular. I didn't feel like a deep emotional connection to the characters. But if you're looking for maybe like a cozy winter read to take to like a cabin or something if you're going on vacation, I think this one would be a good like light fluffy read. Well, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe not light, it is kind of dark. There are definitely darker themes, but by light I mean not really emotional, easy to read. Next, let's move on to my 4-star books, of which there are so many, and I loved all of them. My first 4-star that I read this month was Pearl by Josh Malerman, and this one doesn't come out for a little while. I actually got it as an ARC from NetGalley, so thank you to NetGalley for that ARC. And this is basically, this is hard to describe, but this book is basically a horror version of Animal Farm. If one of the pigs, like the evil pigs, just took over and started killing everyone, that would be Pearl. It was very weird, very twisted, but I got really attached to the characters. I think Josh Malerman has a really great way of endearing you to his characters, so I definitely appreciated that. And it was just a really fun, weird slasher. So if that sounds like something you're down with, I definitely recommend checking out Pearl when it comes out. My next 4-star read was Last Breath by Karen Slaughter. And thank you guys for letting me know in the comments of my book thrifting video where I bought this book. If you missed it, again, I'll link it. Thank you guys for letting me know that this is the prequel to The Good Daughter, because I didn't know that. As soon as I read that comment, I ran to pick it up, and I read it in one day in 2 sittings, and it was so good. So good. It follows Charlie, the main character of The Good Daughter, before the events of The Good Daughter. Obviously, it's prequel. Charlie is a lawyer, so we're following the case that she's tackling, and the very end of this book blew me away. However, I couldn't give it a 5-star. I landed on a 4-star because it just can't touch The Good Daughter. I'm sorry, that book was too good. Next up, I have The Arrangement by Robin Harding, and this one is a thriller that follows a sugar daddy and his sugar baby. So we're following a girl in college. She's kind of down on her luck. She doesn't have any money.
Relatable.
And one of her friends suggests that she goes on dates with old men, and she will get paid for it. So she ends up getting into more of a close relationship with one of the men she goes on dates with, and things get really intense and murder happens, and this book was wild. It kept me locked in and turning pages from the very first chapter. The chapters were so short, so easy to read. If you like drama, this is the book for you. There was so much drama. This was honestly like watching a reality show. It was so good. However, again, to give it a 5-star, I have to get that emotional connection and 5-star feeling, and The Arrangement didn't have that. And I need to fix my blinds again. Can somebody please remind me that the golden hour aesthetic of filming a video is not worth the constant adjusting of blinds? Anyway, my last 2 4-star books are The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix and Ace of Spades. And both of these are new release thrillers that got a ton, and when I say a ton, I mean a ton of hype. And I have a reading vlog coming out in a few days where these are featured, as well as a couple other new release thrillers that were 5-star predictions for me. So I don't want to give you my full thoughts because I want you to watch the vlog. So wait for that to come out and you'll get the full tea on these 2 books. Obviously, you know I gave them 4 stars, so it's gonna be a fun one. Let's go ahead and move on to my 4.5-star books. The first one I have here is The Push by Ashley Audrine. And oh my God, me holding this book right now is just like, we are matching aesthetic. I just feel like, I need a model with this book. And this book follows the aftermath of a woman giving birth for the first time. She has a kid and she really wants this kid, But when she has the kid and it pops out of her body, she's like,
I really don't like you. I hate you, actually.
And she thinks there's something wrong with her. It's a postpartum thing. And then she ends up having a son later, and she connects with him really easily. So she ends up thinking that it's not her own fault. It's actually something wrong with her daughter. And I wouldn't necessarily call this a thriller. I would call it a suspenseful fiction. It's very tense, it's very sad, it's very gripping, it's very emotional. But the reason why I rated it a 4.5 out of 5 instead of a 5-star, and I know a ton of people gave this 5 stars, was because I heard so much hype about the ending. This was apparently one of those thrillers where it's like the last sentence of the last page is supposed to blow you away. So I was waiting for this big twist that everyone was hyping up, and I got to it, and I wasn't really surprised. I mean, I guessed that from maybe chapter 10. Like, it just seemed like a given to me. It didn't seem like a shocker. So, I don't know. I definitely thought it was a beautifully written book. If you want some beautiful writing and a suspense book, pick this up now. Like, it was so beautifully written, so emotional. I really felt for our main character. However, it wasn't a thriller. I don't like that this is marketed as a thriller. I wasn't blown away by the end, and maybe that's my own fault for feeding into the hype and putting a lot of stock in those reviews that said the last sentence was really crazy, but it was just a 4.5 for me. Just a 4.5. A 4.5 is really freaking good, okay? Let's not discount that. And the other book that I rated 4.5 stars this month was The Perfect Family by Robin Harding. And thank you so much, Matt, from Matt the Page Turner, my bestie, for sending me your ARC copy. I love you so much, thank you. And this is another book that I featured in that vlog that's coming in just a few days, so stay tuned for the full thoughts and live reactions to me reading this, of which there are many because this one blew me away. Robin Harding is quickly becoming one of my very favorite authors, and I actually have a video ranking her entire backlist in the works as well. We're almost to my 5-star books, but before we get there, let's talk about my 4.75 book. My 4.75 star book, which was Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding. As you can tell, I read a lot of Robin Harding this month. I was on a big Robin Harding kick. I absolutely love her books, and this one is my favorite by far. It follows a few people in this little suburban area. It's a domestic thriller, so we love to see it, and all the drama and secrets that are happening in their lives. It also zeroes in on this female friendship that kind of turns toxic, and that was fun to read about as well. But the end, or I guess like the last maybe third of the book, turned a corner, and it was so dark, so like true crime. There was this legal drama. It felt like I was watching Dateline. Like, oh my God, it was so good. And this book is so well written, so smart. Every twist caught me off guard. This was a phenomenal thriller. If you're a lover of true crime feeling thrillers and domestic thrillers, you will love this. It's super fast paced and page turning, like all of the other books that I've read by Robin Harding. And of course, Robin knows how to bring the drama. So if you're looking for a book like that, I highly recommend this one. I don't know why it's so underhyped. I've never heard anyone talk about this book, and it's one of my favorites that I read this month. I did have to knock off a 1/4 star though, because there were some discussions of mental health. I don't think they were harmful, but they weren't exactly helpful either. And as a therapist, in my conscience, I can't give that a 5-star. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, let's get into my 5-star reads for the month of August. First, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. I had another book that's featured in the vlog that's coming, Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina. My God. This one is a sleeper pick for one of my favorite books of the year. I thought it was so well done. I gave it 5 stars. Watch the vlog for the full thoughts. The next 5-star book I read this month was The Good Lie by A.R. Torre. Again, thank you to Matt for sending me this book. Matt is just like my book sugar daddy. Like, he's my friend first, but like, he really gives me all the 5-star reads. And this one was incredible. We follow a psychiatrist who is an expert on killers. All of her clients are like serial killers, people with the urge to kill, somebody who's killed before. And she gets contacted by the father of one of the victims of a serial killer. And he calls her up and he's like, hey, I really want you to help me with the client that I'm representing. And it is the guy who was arrested for the murder of my son. Yes, you heard that right. A victim's father is defending the murderer because he doesn't think that the police caught the right killer, and he wants the psychiatrist to prove that by looking into his psychology. This was totally 100% up my alley. I loved every piece of this thriller. It felt domestic, it felt dramatic. There was a ton of legal drama, which I love in my thrillers. And it had that romance aspect that A.R. Torre is so good at weaving into her thrillers. I literally found nothing wrong with this whatsoever. It was perfect. I loved it. Please, everyone read this and give it 5 stars. The next 5-star book I read this month was actually a new release romance, and it is Tessa Bailey's newest release. It happened one summer. This book is a Schitt's Creek inspired enemies to lovers romance, and oh my god, when I tell you this book crawled into my heart and made home there, I am not kidding. I felt so emotionally attached to these characters. The main character was so fun. She's like this little rich girl who has been a party girl all her life. She doesn't really have a direction, and her stepdad that's funding her entire life cuts her off and is like, hey, you're gonna move to this fishing town in Washington where your bio dad lived and connect to your roots because you're a superficial bitch. Basically that. And while she's there, she meets this gruff fisherman who obviously she falls in love with, but when they first meet, they don't really like each other. They kind of misjudge each other. And throughout the book, they get to know each other, and it is just so sweet. I was so unbelievably attached to these characters. And y'all, the smut, I will give it 5 stars for that alone. I mean, that's a masterpiece. Tessa Bailey really knows what she's doing. In a very different vein, another 5-star book I read this month was The Mighty Heart of Sunny St. James by Ashley Herring Blake. And this was just the purest, most adorable, emotional story. I sobbed while finishing this book. It's about a girl named Sunny St. James, and she has a heart defect. She actually has a heart transplant at the beginning of the book, and she's learning how to live as a new person with this new heart and this new lease on life. And she's also figuring out her sexuality. As the book goes on, she develops a crush on her best friend, and it's just so adorable to see how that plays out, but it's also so touching to know that there's a story like this available. And I can't wait to have my kids read about characters that are exploring their sexuality. I think that is so healthy, and it was just a beautiful story. Absolutely so touching, so emotional. I can't say enough good things about this book. I already want to reread it. It was very summery, so it fit the end of summer vibes very well. The whole thing's set on the beach, and there's a lot of surfing happening. There's a lot of pre-teenage rebellion. I was living for every aspect of this book. Please read it. And thank you to Jess from Books Past Bedtime, one of my besties, for recommending this to me. I absolutely loved it. And finally, we are at my favorite book of the month. This was like a 10 out of 5 stars, if we're being honest. And that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is a romance, and that is all you need to know. Because I went into this book totally and completely blind. I had heard reviews, but I'd never heard a synopsis. And I think that is the best way to go into this book. I think you should know nothing and let it just take you on the ride. Because holy wow. This book was phenomenal. And coming from a therapist, the mental health rep in here, and just all the representation of humanity in here was so nuanced and beautiful. Again, 10 out of 5 stars. Cannot recommend this book enough. I think every human should be required to read this book, but especially every therapist. And I actually had an hour-long discussion about this book with one of my coworkers. She's a therapist as well. She's actually a marriage and family therapist, so she sees a lot of couples, which is different from me. I see individuals. So I thought that was a really wonderful discussion. Also, Sahar from Basically Bookish Reads was our moderator for that discussion, asked some really amazing questions about the book. So I will link that above and below if you're interested on hearing that. We do go into spoilers at some points in that, so beware, you might not want to watch that until after you read this book, but this book is required reading. So if you're gonna watch my channel, like, you need to read this book anyway. So like, go read it immediately. This is a serious assignment from your teacher who looks very official in her new glasses. All right, guys, that is every book. We're to the end. This is every book that I read in August, all 18 of them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to glassesusacom for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to click on that link down below. Go, do it now. Get yourself some cutie little glasses or sunglasses or blue blockers or contacts, whatever you're looking for. And don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.